Shalom family, it's your brother Timothy back at it with another video. I find this video more than necessary to make today. As usual, I've been looking at what's been happening around the world, and as always, more biblical prophecy. Scripture's been jumping off the page lately. If you look in the book of Matthew 24, it prophesies about what will happen in the latter days, and you will see that it prophesies there will be nation against nation. Contrary to popular belief, the word nation doesn't mean a country. Some people think that China or Russia or the United States, some people think that they're nations according to the Bible, when that is in fact not true. According to the Bible, nation is race, it's a bloodline. It's what's in here. That's what nation is in the Bible. It's bloodlines. And we are starting to see nation versus nation. Listen, things might not have turned physical yet. And I mean, when I say physical, I mean as in people might not be losing their lives yet. But I want to hop on here and warn everyone that is very possible. We could be heading into that time. And I want to make this clear. I don't want to see no quote unquote race war. I don't stand for that stuff. Okay? But I want to make this video because I want to warn people this is what we can expect in the future, because this book here, it prophesies about this. If you read the book of Jeremiah chapter 30, you will read about Jacob's trouble in the last days. I'm going to say this, worldwide, right, looking on a worldwide scale, if you cannot see that the blacks, the Latinas, a lot of these indigenous cultures, if you can't see that they're the target right now, you must be oblivious to what's going on right now, because they're clearly the target. Now, look, I know yesterday here in Australia we had, in Melbourne, Adelaide, Sydney, and I believe Brisbane, there was some protests happening. There was some protests going on, and basically, the white supremacists, they want full control. They don't want any more people coming from other nations or other countries into Australia anymore. Yeah, so really they're putting their people first, which I can't say is racist. There's nothing racist about putting your people first. You're supposed to put your people first. But when it's to the point where, you got neo-Nazis coming in and raiding indigenous camps, or coming in and raiding Indian communities, okay, that's an issue. Because not only, look, that's to the point where it's putting people in danger, and that's some racist activity there. Look, speaking from a biblical perspective, Esau, or the white man, they realize that they're losing control of this world right now. People aren't bowing down to white supremacy like they used to. They realize that the Europeans, or the white people, look, they're not going to be ruling the earth in the near future like they have been for the last hundreds of years. It's not going down like that anymore, because it's almost as if they're the slowest growing population. And look, fact check me on that. I wouldn't be surprised if that statement was correct. But the black population is growing way too fast. The Asian population growing way too fast. And sorry, let me reword that. They're growing faster than the white population. Look, you're supposed to populate the planet. No such thing as populating way too fast. But all I'm saying is that they realize that they're being outnumbered. They're being outgunned. They don't have the manpower anymore, and they're trying to hold on to the power while they can, because they know that they're going to lose it pretty soon. That's why when it comes to these immigrations, you'll see, the US and the States, Australia and the European countries, when it comes to letting immigrants in, they're very hesitant to let people from countries in Africa in. They're very hesitant to let people from, Bangladesh, Thailand, the Middle East. They don't want to let them people in, but they'll let them white Israelis in. They'll let the white Afrikaners in. They'll let the Ukrainians in, the Russians in. Why? Because they're all white people. That's all Esau. See, look, the Bible says that, in the last days, every man will go back to where he come from. You will see nation versus nation. If you can't see that they're setting up for a race war, I'm sorry, but, you need to wake up. You need to open up your eyes. Everything's taking place right in front of us. Didn't you see Donald Trump wanted to kick out all the Mexicans. He's still trying to, by the way, getting ICE to invade all the Mexicans. Even people that have done their citizenship tests, people that have literally gone through all the necessary steps to become an American citizen. They've been living here for 40 years, and he said, nope, you're gone. Get out of the States. So that's what's really going on. It's as if they're trying to make the white population bigger and unite the whites, and they want, everyone else to be spread out and dispersed, because at the end of the day, everyone's, you're stronger when you're united. So that's what they're trying to do at the end of the day, man. And the Haitians as well. They was kicking out the Haitians. You can't even tell the difference between a black American and a Haitian. It's really hard, because at the end of the day, they're the same people. They're all descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, which is also biblical prophecy. Look, children of Israel are being oppressed, whether it be the Latinas, whether it be the blacks, the West Indies, indigenous cultures. Look, 12 tribes worldwide. We need to unite. We need to come together. And I'm not saying, let me make this clear, I'm not saying go out there looking for trouble. No, go avoid trouble, because as for me, look, I just want to serve the Most High in peace, and I'm sure a lot of people in this channel do. We just want to serve the Most High, live for the Most High. But if any of this stuff comes your way, if anyone comes up to you and puts their hands on you, you better make sure you swing the hell back. You got to do what you need to do to stay safe at the end of the day, man. And I don't feel entirely comfortable about making this video, but at the end of the day, man, I can see that this is the time that we're heading into, and it's I feel the need to put the warning out there, because things could get messy in the future. Donald Trump want to go invading Washington, D.C., which has the highest black American population in the United States, and he's going for Chicago next. That's literally known for the hood, man. And the Chicago mayor, he was talking about, if the military comes in, make sure you defend yourself. So, look, all I'm saying is things could get messy, and expect the unexpected, man. Be ready for anything. Hope for the best, but prepare for combat. Anyway, I didn't want to make this video long. I just wanted to come in and say all that stuff. With that being said, shalom and peace.